Welcome to Valentina Design Universe. This is the place where we meet, we get informed, we get entertained and inspired by exceptional people who do exceptional things in their lives. Today in this episode, first of all, I am Valentina, your host, and my guest is a returning guest, Pillot. She is a fashion designer. So let's welcome Gilles. Gilles, nice to have you again.
Hi, Valentina. Great being back, for sure.
You must have liked the first time, so you came back again.
I sure did, yes. It was a fabulous time.
So I just briefly, for those who have not seen the previous show, I just want to do a little introduction of you. You came from Belgium a few years ago. You're a fashion designer. You own your own business in fashion. You teach young people how to sew, and you own your own modeling academy. But there is one very special thing you do in your activities. You rescue fabrics.
Yes.
So what does that mean to rescue fabrics?
So designing from rescued materials, I feel like it's really being comprehending the environment, making sure that our clothing that we wear are not being wasted. And so I design and create from rescued materials or recycled materials, so to make sure that we don't waste these into the landfill.
So you're very environmentally conscious. Mm-hmm. And where these fabric, where do they come from? People donate it to you, or you go finding somewhere and search them in markets?
I think it's a combination of all of it. I started with my closet, so I cleaned that closet and I redesigned, and that's how I started my line of clothes.
Right.
And now we have people, because I've been doing this for the last 15, 18 years.
Right.
So we have lots of donations as well. For example, designers that no longer want, they've cut out their pieces and they have leftovers, so I make sure to reuse those so that they don't go to the waste.
So do you also use worn material or worn fabric, clothing, or otherwise used, and then you take them apart and do them again?
I will do that as well. We like the fabrics to be in certain conditions, but I do for customers as well. You can clean out closet, for example, and I can redesign it, things that are memorable to you.
And that's the concept that is very different from any other boutique. You're just not a regular boutique where you go buy things that many other people can have. You make your own creation out of used, worn material or new but scraps of the bolt, right? So when do you decide that a fabric is no longer used and is really cannot be used anymore?
Oh, I think every fabric can be used.
Up to what kind of point? I mean, because fabrics do tear after a long usage.
Oh, even those I would not waste.
Really?
I probably will find a way to integrate them into the designs, and that's what makes our designs so unique, and with lots of sewing and different, so it almost feels like a canvas when I'm designing, so I really integrate lots of pieces in there. Even as you can see, I have lots of scraps. I can see
a big box here with a lot of little scraps.
Right.
You do use all of that?
I use everything. So we have under my tables and some of our students' tables, I will have these buckets. So to make sure we don't waste the threads that are being cut out, the fabrics that are not being used. So we chop them up and then we'll save them into these buckets next to our tables. I cannot even imagine if all of this would go into waste. It is amazing how much we are throwing out. And so what I do with...
This is just like food. We throw away food that we think is not usable, but in reality is good enough to eat.
Yes.
And this is the same thing. It's the very same concept. which I love because I'm not a wasteful person.
No.
And I do use everything I have in every field. So this is one of the example. This is a pair of pants. Is this one of the example of
yes, so I've created my pair of pants, I designed the pants, and then I had some leftovers because I had to cut out the pieces that I was not using for the pair of pants. And from these pieces, I kind of puzzled them all together and made a skirt out of the small pieces. And from those little scraps that at the end we're not using, I feel like I want to add them as a decorative and making a strong statement about...
Absolutely gorgeous. If you can show it, it is gorgeous. It's a very original design. And
the same thing, for example, for these ones. All of these have been puzzled together. So there's a lot more work than just buying a piece of fabric. But so as you can see, these have been all puzzled. And I will today show as well how I come about putting pieces together and so forth.
Well, there is one thing I can say. I'm proudly wear one of your hats that you made the same way. So I'm wearing it, and it feels really good. You know, just a pair of gloves, and I can go to the Grand Gala.
I think it looks fabulous on you, for sure.
So in these poofs here, these you have these scraps of material,
That's right. And so we make use of it. And so these may have been little pieces of fabrics that we no longer could make a garment out of it. And then I fill them up with these. We have, for example, a poof at the bottom as well. And that, my dog loves these poofs.
I'm sure.
They're super, super comfortable, and you're not wasting anything.
Absolutely.
And it's really, I don't want to waste not even a thread in our store, for sure.
That is such a great idea. And I have not seen anyone doing this other than when I lived with my family in Europe. My mom used to tell me these stories because she was a designer as well. She used the same concept. So I guess it's something in our blood, in the European way of being that, you know.
I think it's somehow it got lost in a chunk of this last generation. But I feel like, I believe, especially keep on spreading the word about it, people are catching on, and they hopefully will pay a lot more attention to what is being thrown out.
Everyone is very conscious about the environment these days. So
well, I also I offer this to my clients, the customers, and I also teach it in our classes. So I'm trying to keep on spreading the word about, yes, you can do with what you're surrounded. Now, we do have people that say, but how do you come up with the ideas? And how do you come about? And so, well, I brought in a big basket of nothing but scraps.
Am I supposed to do something with this?
Yes, I'm going to put you to work today.
You put me to work. Okay, let's put me to work. So I take some of these.
Right. And I have no idea what's in there.
Okay,
I've
so I take some red because I like red.
Exactly.
Okay, so now, what do I do with this?
So, the way I would do it, and my husband was like, you just go and grab this and this and this, and you make something out of it. But if you're new to this, I'm going to try to show you what I feel like would lead to creating one piece of fabric. So what I like you to do, actually, you're going to take much more than that.
Much more?
Much more. And
all in one same color or not?
It doesn't matter. Just grab everything that you can. Just pile them up.
I like this.
And so, like, this is a part of a vest, right?
Right.
So now the idea would be to create, I usually ask our students to create about 6 piles of things that you feel would work well together.
Okay, so you start with colors, or you start with texture? Or
everything mixed together. So you say, okay, this color, just your first instinct, really.
Right.
The first instinct without thinking of what it is going to become.
Okay, my first instinct. is this.
So just grab that and create, let's say, 3 piles of fabrics that you feel like is going to go well together.
Oh,
and the more you have, of course, the more choices you have too. So,
well, I like this.
Well, and then like these ones, I'm more of a neutral color person, so I would kind of combine these ones together. But
I like this.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. So
you like to combine many colors together, right? Yes. So everyone has different styles and different visions of it.
So I have to create 3 piles?
Yes, and I would recommend to even grab more than that, because otherwise,
Okay.
Ooh, you want to have choices. You want to have choices.
Okay. So
don't cut yourself short. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to have choices.
Oh
right?
my! Oh my!
Yeah, it's just all of that.
So
that's how my studio looks. I have 3 tables, and my studio looks like nothing but piles of fabric that I put on top of each other and creating pieces.
Oh, okay. So this and this.
You feel like that works well together?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I kind of like this with this as well. I mean, I feel like these colors are coming together.
Yes.
Right?
I don't like this pink. We'll put this back in there.
Yes.
But I like this. Ooh, ooh la la.
That's you.
I can actually put this over here.
Oh, okay. Do you want to grab just a few more? See what we have and.
Okay. And
because most of it would be about knowing what fabrics would kind of go together.
Right. Okay. I'll do this. How about that?
Okay, so let's clean up some piles and make sure that they're very
this and this and this
good together. Where do you feel like this would work?
This would work here.
In there. And how about this one?
This one will work here.
You feel like that?
Yeah.
And this. So let's spread them out so we can really identify the 3 different piles. Otherwise, it's still like it's in the basket, right?
Right.
How about this one here?
No.
No, you don't like that?
Not that I've seen other things, I don't.
Where do you feel like this would fit?
That one with this one actually would fit here. This would fit here, and this would fit there.
Okay. And these. Let's clean it up so we can have, otherwise we're going to be all
that one
like
there.
A mess,
and
right?
These here.
Those there, and then these
right.
ones right there. Okay, and this, and this.
Not this one at this
time. You don't like that? Oh, I thought you would like that.
I like it, yeah. Let's try this one with that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll put this back in here.
Okay.
So where does this lead me?
All right, so it leads you with a little bit of just little stacks.
So now that we're going to do something, right? Let's try to have some music.
Okay.
Not sure. Can we have some music? Okay. So, what do I do?
So now we go through these piles and see which is your favorite pile. Because today we would not have enough time to really create something, but we are just trying to lay out how this would.
This is my favorite.
That's your favorite pile?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
So let's put these ones away and then see what are the reasons that you like these colors and fabrics together.
The contrast.
The contrast?
I like the contrast, the cold and hot. And I like it because of this is texture. I like the texture. And it's kind of neutral. And the velvet, is this velvet? Yeah. So I like the texture and the color because the color and the contrast.
So the idea would be to create one big piece of fabric. we will not be sewing today.
Okay.
Right? So what we look for pieces of fabric to work well together would definitely be the weight, the feel of it. So for example, this is a lot silkier, this is more of a cotton. So would these two work well together?
This would be the base.
The base of it?
Right.
Okay.
This would be the base, and this would be the top, because they're different in texture. So this is lighter, so I would do something for the top of this.
So this is where I think a lot of times people struggle a little bit by creating pieces from rescued materials, because my process of it, I don't want to think what they are going to become.
Right, right.
At all. So if you tell me this is going to be a top and this a base, it's going to stagnate me, yes?
Right,
so it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
So what the idea is to create one big piece of fabric. For example, on this one here, I pulled all of the same weight fabrics. I think that's very important, that the colors go well together for everyone different likings. Same thing with this dress here. It has the same weight, and then it becomes one. So now you have to revise that part. And I think this is where it's not as easy to know what to put together. So would you still feel like these two would work well together?
Yes.
Yes? What would you see this as being?
Not sure. Obviously not sure at the moment. It could be just a top, not a dress, just a top.
Just a top,
just a top.
Yes. Yeah. And so let's see, because it's tricky, right? Now I would be sewing all of these pieces together.
Okay.
And then your top, you will have to create a pattern and then place it on here.
Exactly.
And then you cut it into that.
Okay, yes. But what about an applique, for instance? You know, you have this that it's already made into something. I would take it apart. Open it up, and use one side maybe like that, or you know, and then when I cut the pattern, this would be included in it.
Right.
Right.
And the way, for example, I would see it, because we all have very different visions, is I could probably use this as a pocket.
A pocket, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
I would slide my hand right here. And so I would maybe create a skirt and then place this as a pocket.
Oh my, I can already see it.
See it?
Oh yes,
Good.
I see it. I see it in my head already.
And this came from a vest that was no longer useful. It may have had stains, or it could have been.
This is so great. And it really pushes out imagination.
I think so.
And I don't know if it's because I'm a designer, so I basically go along with the game and then everything is good for me. And I don't know if it's that easy for everybody else, but it really pushes out imagination. So I can see a young person working.
There's no age for it.
Right. There's no age, absolutely. But yes, this is great. This is absolutely great.
Very good. And then we have, you know, different, like this is a hat of some sort, you know, and I could see that as well as a
just
pocket,
like it is.
or just like it is. Different things, yes.
So now you did all of this when you came from your country, and you started this extravagant concept, because to me it is an extravagant concept. Nobody thought of doing it before you. So my question to you is, why is that when young designers go to a design school, a fashion school, they all design formal dresses?
Right.
Why is that? It's because it's in their life lacking a bit of glamour, or because they see women in glamorous clothes, or why is that everyone designs glamorous fashion? When in everyday life, people don't wear things like that. They have to go to a party.
Well, perhaps because they see it on TV with red carpet and so forth, and they want to be maybe the next designer that would be worn by Hollywood, or maybe, I'm not sure, but yes, it's true.
It's one in a million.
It's like the Barbie doll, right? We always want a glamorous dress.
You found a niche, and that's what makes you unique. You found a niche in something special, exceptional. And that's not what I see in most of young designers.
No, I notice as well because we have interns that come in as well that are in the fashion.
They all want to do.
And they come in, and it's very difficult for them to understand this concept. And it's a bit of a challenge, even if they went to school for 4 years, for sure, yes.
It is strange to me.
To me, it comes naturally.
Yeah.
It really, I thrive through it. I don't pre-design. I don't have a picture in my mind. I've stopped doing that part. I don't pre-draw. The fabrics really inspire me for them to become something, and the scraps even more. It excites me. It's just like, oh, and I
can see that in 5 minutes, I created in my mind something that didn't exist.
Right.
You know, now that skirt is in my mind. Guess who's going to make it?
Right?
You.
I am, of course.
Yes.
No,
this is fun. It's really, really fun.
I enjoy it. I mean, I've been doing this now for 23 years, and I still, every day, I am excited to get up and start my day again, creating from scraps.
So, do people ask you when you are in the street, where did you buy this? Or who made this for you? Do they ask you all the time?
My customers tell me that they're being asked all the time as well. So this is great.
It's fun.
Yes. Well, I will never ever make two the same, ever.
I would never think that what you're wearing has been done that way. What you have on the mannequin has been done this way. The hat that I'm wearing has been done this way. But I would never thought in a million years before I met you to do things like that.
And one thing I didn't want to do so much, I think, is like we've seen people designing from recycled materials, and it's very patchy. And these are patchy as well, but I wanted to create the fabric and then let that flow into a different design as well. I'm happy to hear that you don't see that it came from scraps.
No, absolutely not. It's
all of this here as well.
It's not obvious at all. So,
but this is
very
it.
Happy,
yes,
really,
this is
very,
it.
very happy.
So
what are your plans for your future?
Continue doing, huh?
You should take this to the next level.
Right. What is the next level?
You should go to Hollywood and propose these things to actors that, to me, look very, very plasticky. Their dresses might be beautiful, but they're not attractive to me. They're not.
I feel, what I notice more and more is what's out on the market, the quality of it isn't great. And I always feel like if these materials have lasted this long, that means they've gone through the roughness of it all, and they're still in good quality. That's what I look for as well. Nowadays, I don't know if I will be able to redesign from what's out in the market. Because of the fabric not being the quality that it used to be, I think. Yes.
Well, that is a big problem, because nowadays we have a lot of synthetics and but
yes,
I'm sure you can discard those and make it into poofs and use the best.
And they are super comfortable too.
And use the best fabric for the best dresses. So this has been really exceptional. Just like I said in my opening, we meet exceptional people who do extravagant things and very exceptional in their activities in their lives. So I've always happy to meet people like you and to bring them out to light. So if you want to know more about Gilles Pillot, you can write me at valentinadesign@comcast.net, or you know where she is because we have credits on the show. And so am I going to see you again next time?
Oh, for sure. Maybe with how to really put it all together with a machine and so forth, perhaps.
Right.
Or we'll come up with some new ideas.
We need to do something special to continue this as a series, because now people know what they can do with what they have, scraps of fabric that everyone has in their home. And the next, I think, you should show how to have a garment, or how to take their own garment apart and make it into something else.
I think we would need a nice hour show for that. Yes,
we can arrange that.
Yes.
Absolutely. We can arrange it. Okay, so I think the show is coming to an end and we have to wrap it. It was a pleasure to have you, Gilles.
My pleasure.
And it was a pleasure to know all of that we can do. So I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone and peace, love. A big kiss.
Bye.
Bye.